Just today, I've learned so much. So, like, there were some sea lions there. How much do they have to eat a day?
This is the story of how Z was right and I was wrong. Recently, Z and I went to this conference with a bunch of engineering YouTubers. And for those of you unfamiliar, Mark Rober is this mega YouTuber. He does these over-the-top engineering experiments, pranks. So going into this Q&A, I told Z, I think he's probably an ENTP personality type. And your reaction was like,
I don't know.
and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure he's an ENTP.
Yeah, why again?
I was pretty sure about the functions. The ways that he likes to explore is definitely with the ideas. It's like, wouldn't it be cool or interesting if...
I'm just like a naturally curious person. I've learned so much. So, like, there were some sea lions there. Learning something like that is like creates this aha moment for me.
Just the ways that he likes to break things down and explain things, the way he likes trolling and getting reactions out of other people.
Based off, I think, the description you told me, I was like, that could be a lot of other types too.
Yeah, and I hadn't really done like a full, like, proper focused analysis. And so I was like, okay, I guess he could be other things, but like, I'm pretty sure he's this one.
You were super confident. I was like literally stressed out.
I was like, what else could he be?
So start thinking of some questions. I think we'll line up here in a minute. Have
So
you
now-
ever done this, Bob?
We've got, there we go. Right there.
Wow! Can I cite two things? Wow!
What has been your most expensive video?
Okay, Liam.
At the very least, I was like, okay, he's definitely got extroverted feeling in terms of the ways he likes to manage or get results outside. It's very much like liking to create a feeling. Oh, let me say some things to the audience to get like a laugh or a reaction.
If you could study one type of science for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Good question, Joe. Can I ask you? I want to know your answer to this first, though. Which one would you study?
Probably the Kawanda effect.
Oh, the Kawanda. And Joe, can you tell me, what do you know about the Kawanda effect?
That's really cool.
It's really cool.
I think I was very skeptical coming in because I didn't see a lot of like spontaneity, like natural spontaneity. I could see like performative spontaneity. It's like it was more that I didn't see that EP side of him where it was a little bit more like relaxed, spontaneous, and sort of not really caring too much about managing the outside stuff.
How are you doing, Bob? We're still getting ready, right? Okay. All right, who's next?
Can you name a time when a friend or past experience unexpectedly saved one of your projects?
Yeah, on this last one, so we made like a puzzle robot. It's like a robot called Jigsaw, and he could put together any puzzle like 10,000 times faster than a human. And we got to a point halfway through on this project, and two devastating things happened. One, we just got to a point in the code where it's like, we're just stuck a little bit. And two, Shane from the YouTube channel Stuff Made Here, as I'm scrolling through, I saw he made a puzzle robot. And like, as a YouTube creator, that's like the worst feeling ever. And then right after that, to get to your question, we did this video in Rwanda with the guys from Zipline.
This was when my eyebrows started being like,
I think if I remember, after like the set of Q&As there, I was like, that's a lot of details and facts, concrete facts. It's like 70% facts and then some connections and analogies.
We did this video in Rwanda with the guys from Zipline. It's like these drones that deliver like blood through the air that have reduced maternal mortality rate by like 95%. Yeah, it's amazing. And that's the power of engineering, right? That's what's so cool about being an engineer. It's a superpower that you can use to create stuff that doesn't exist to make the world better. No one embodies that better than the guys at Zipline. Anyways, one of their founders, Ryan.
he gives a lot of context and details, like a lot. And sometimes he even changes what he's talking about to add in more context, more learnings.
One of their founders, Ryan, is like a savant when it comes to coding. And we explained why we were there, like the roadblocks we have.
It's almost like he's trying to answer the question and sharing what the experience was like or what he learned. And then as he's telling that story, you can see he's like reminded of more context, more other interesting things that he learned. And then he wants to add that in. You can see in terms of the information that he likes sharing a lot, it's the story of all these different things that he's learned and experienced or thought about before. They're not fully
Abstract connections, right? When both NE and SI are trying to get to the point, they're going to either be talking more in like NE information or SI information. So when NPs talk in getting to the point, it's going to be super abstract. Probably have no examples.
It was really cool. And I think that there's something that happens to you when you look into a mirror and you, I don't know, feel the reference of it all, and it's you, and it's really, really hard to describe. It definitely is a trip, and it starts the journey.
When Mark was talking, it's a lot more like concrete experiences.
What is your favorite color?
My son, I made a video about my son. Colors are very important to him. He writes about 60 letters every month to people, and he'll find out what your favorite color is, and then he'll just cover the back in like crayon. So ordinarily, I think I wouldn't have a favorite color, but because it's very important to him, I could tell you my favorite color is blue, and because I've been asked by him a lot, you should know my second favorite color is green.
It's like the level of story and context that he gets into. The backstory is where the meaning comes from, and so I really want to give you all of it.
Yeah, I noticed you're not getting the gloves, Bob.
Yeah, we should wear gloves.
Okay.
We might have time for one more if they want one more.
What, another clown?
What? No, one more experiment.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
We're doing it now, or we're doing it a little bit?
No, you do some Q&A.
Okay.
He's like, wait, that's not what we planned.
A lot of like checking in. What's the plan? What's this next series of things we need to do?
Yeah. So at this point, I had like this pit in my stomach. I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys have had the experience, but when you're wrong about something and you realize, sometimes it feels bad. Like it feels like, ooh. But the thing that was really catching my attention, that was making me realize, I was like, this is how I talk. The ways that he says, this was the experience, and then this is what it made me think of. And then that's made me think of this experience. And then that's what it made me think of. I was like, I do this all the time. Just feels so relatable. The ways he's like, and you know, what's actually interesting about that is saying an experience, then starts jumping to connections, and then, but it's really just what another thing that he's learned. That type of bouncing back and forth between NE and SI feels very relatable to me. And whenever I hear it, I can track it very easily. I was like, do ENTPs do that? Not like that, not with that level of focusing on the concrete stuff or the experience. They might skip over that stuff. And do we ever see any examples where Mark's skipping over details or the experience? No, if anything, he's jumping in to add more.
As much as you recognize NESI in the middle for yourself and you related to Mark, I would say when you do it though, it's hardly even this much concrete and detailed and clear explanation. Off screen, when you talk to Eric, either yourself or some people, you'll see them actually asking Eric for more details because you're very lacking of information and details when you're sharing something, because you'll be like, oh, I watched this really cool video of dolphins talking, and then you just start talking about the concepts and the ideas that you started.
Yeah, and I've skipped
and then
over.
people will be like, wait, what? Dolphins are talking? Can you just talk about that for a bit? And then you kind of go, oh, right, I forgot to explain the experience I had. So yeah, I get it. You relate to the NESI in the middle because of what you have, but even with what you're talking about most of the time, it's always about like, what I'm really excited to tell you about is that it's really about this idea that I'm having. But you very rarely talk about, well, what I really want to talk about is how this experience came, and then this is what happened, and then this is what he said.
I tend to skip to all the parts that I thought were the most interesting, and along the way sometimes skip details like what actually happened or helping
Anything.
the other.
Part of something that's much bigger as for humanity. And I don't mind being part of a big team.
I don't mind being part of a big team.
I feel like I've always had about a year's worth of ideas out. Like I've always just had about a year's worth of ideas, and it's kind of like just stayed out in front of me.
That triggered another red flag for me when he said that he always has like a year's worth of ideas in advance, and I know that about him, and he's done it multiple years in a row.
Your consistency is insane. Like I don't know that there's another YouTube channel like that has been that consistent over 7 years.
I mean, think about the level of not spontaneity that takes to not only plan ahead, but like not changing the idea or being locked into that idea if you don't want to work on that idea.
Generally, if it's going to be too hard, like this is the thing about having experience, especially an engineer, is you know what's within the realm of possibility and not before you start it, I think, and that's just something that comes with experience. So I can honestly say I've never started a video and like not finished it, and part of that
Never started a video
That was
and not
the part where I was
finished.
like, oh, a stab in the heart. I was like, it doesn't matter how planned out of an ENTP you are. That is like, you'll never hear an ENTP saying that. I don't think I've ever not finished an idea that I've started. It was like, oh.
Yeah, we're not stereotyping, but the way again he is so shoulder shrugging. ENPs, that's not a shoulder shrug for a lot of them because it's something that they're working through or figuring out. Because sometimes closing a loop is what they're trying to figure out and learn.
Yeah, it's like I have so many ideas. And so actually slowing myself down to actually put that into reality and complete that, that's not always the fun part.
You know, I do some knowledge videos and I get some comments like, that wasn't even really true. Like, that was sort of true, but you didn't really give the full answer. But it was like, the fun part is the question, not the answer. You know what I mean? Like, I love the questions. The answers are kind of the boring part.
My biggest challenge now is taking the ideas and bringing them into reality. I've been able to really come up with good ideas, but now that I've got all these ideas, it's hard to make them. So I have to email people, call people.
So I can honestly say I've never started a video and like not finished it. Just today I've learned so much. So like there were some sea lions. Have you ever noticed like whales and dolphins, their tails go like this versus like fish, they go like that? And have you ever thought about why that is? And it's like basically 200 million years ago, like
This is just such a great example of how SI can really sound like intelligence, and then intelligence can really sound like thinking. Not actually, but it's just because of these stereotypes that we have. Mark is a super intelligent person, and when he shares all the things he's learning, he is so smart, but just making sure that that's not where the thinking assessment comes from. I think also another reflection for me is like, this was actually like a really nice milestone learning moment for me. That like pit in my stomach, you know, and then like having to sort of let that go and then being like, oh wow, this helps me learn something so that later if I run into a tricky case, I sort of know what to look out for. And actually you guys were able to see it with the MatPat one. It was like much easier to tell. And with Maya noticing her NE. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's like sort of uncomfortable in the moment to be wrong, or at least for me, but appreciating that and just being like, okay, cool, well, at least I learned something.
And that's NESI together, but on a different, slightly switch, where you hear him talking more about the things that he's learning, but in a less concrete way, less about the experiences that happen, but more of the things that he's learning big picture and what he could do later in the future, or the things he could do later that are different.
In MBTI land, it's not talked enough about just how creative, intelligent, interesting, and successful ESFJ personality types can be, which I think is sort of unfortunate and leads to a lot of ESFJs feeling misrepresented or getting ENFP or ENTP on their personality type tests. Today's video is actually a snippet of a full 50-minute video on Mark Rober's personality patterns, discussing this topic of sensing versus intuition, how to see some of the differences. These videos aren't super easy to make. If you guys wanted to support the channel and learn more about your personality patterns, check out the membership link down below in the description. Regardless if that's the right fit for you, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the next ones. Peace, bye.